Alright, this is the fourth time I've tried to make this post, and I figured, sitting and staying up all night trying to brainstorm as many ways possible to get justice for Warren County and my family and others that need it badly, and I decided the only way and rational way to do it is to go ahead and run for Warren County attorney and put some of these criminals to rest finally, and get an office in that county that is integral and worth every bit of money the people spend on it. So I figured might as well just announce I'm going to run for Warren County attorney and get my name on the ballot in one way or another. If you got to write me in, write me in. I wish I could just write on there, just have a public opinion poll or a vote, say give Nick Augustine his children back and let him move back to wherever he wants to, and not keep this bullshit dark money game going against him and his family. But I'm never going to get any. Even the federal government's not going to prosecute or even look into who has potentially stolen a lot of money from my family, over $20 million in annuities, farm annuities bought back in the 70s. My dad left for me and the boys, and it's appearing that those are gone. There is not Mr. Alan Wilson of Wayne County, the attorney, who also was the partner in Mr. Miles' law office, my dad's longtime attorney, claims there's no file on my father down there, and in fact I've never heard of that name before. I fucking fell on the floor. He's got to be joking. And here he was. He was stoic. He's like, well, I'll check again, but I'm pretty sure I never saw anything. We clear everything out after 7 to 10 years. I'm like, bullshit. You find that file, I'll be down there to get it. I ain't playing around with you, buddy. That's some bullshit. Me and my boys were banking on that for the next half of my life and the rest of theirs and their kids too. So that's the only logical thing I do is run against Doug Eicholz, Warren County attorney. If I got to run non-party, if there's another incumbent right now, or not incumbent, but another opponent or whatever you call it, a candidate running, then I guess I will yield to them and just be a third party candidate, and I'll just run on the independent ticket, I guess, or the reform ticket. Let's put it that way, reform ticket, and we'll try to make right the Doug Eicholz and the master of might down there, real big man. Oh shit! But anyway, he could have prosecuted some serious crimes against me and my family that would have stopped and completely barred any of this. This shit happened to me in Jasper County that they put me through intentionally, with intent to kill me, deprive me of my life. They already took my liberty. I obey the laws and I follow the laws, and I utilize my liberty and I try to uphold my liberties. But they totally abolished that for me, and it wasn't even the pursuit of happiness they took from me. They took happiness. I was happy, regardless, of what was, what marital issues I was having, which were pretty minor for the most part. I just didn't like all the drug runners coming around my house and stupid shit like that. So you do what you got to do. And Joe Carrico, he's a Republican sheriff down there. Well, if I could get on the Republican ticket, well, maybe we could work together and actually, give the people their money's worth and put to bed some of this bullshit. But I can tell you right now, you keep an eye on it. If you guys elect me in Warren County, man, would it be a happy day in the legal community of the real world, for the real man, for the everyday citizen? Talk about a victory. And the fact that you keep an eye on these guys, they'll be shuffling so much shit around trying to cover up their bullshit crimes. I'll get in there as soon as I can and try to nab them. But seriously, they got boxes of my documents that, they better have them. They better be in that old Mason building. I want my documents back. I want my computers back. Whatever slick trick you think you guys were going to pull with those, try to label me as somebody use my computers to do something stupid. I've heard about all these little Hollywood-esque movies, these Bollywood-style movies you're trying to make. That's why all these rumors get started about things about me and stuff like that, and they've got a lookalike that goes in. They actually play these out, is what I've heard, and then they store them and they release these after they finally off me. That's why one of the reasons they've been trying to off me so quick, so they can have Stooley number whoever to step in and they play out all these videos. You know, I was exposed to some of this shit, some of the sheriff's video cams that they have of me over the years that I was unaware that they were taking and making, but those were off sheriff cars. But they actually have a video, like the rumor going around that I was gunslinging out the window of my car trying to chase the social worker down, and I was lofting shots out of the window of my car at her. They actually played that out, and you have to have a video of that, a guy doing that. I mean, I'm like, wow, that is these guys are fucking shysty as hell. The DCI is in part of it. I know exactly where in Warren County they have a storage facility, a massive data storage bank facility where it's not just me they're doing this to, and they plan on unleashing some serious twisted-minded stuff as online streaming content, and they'll get a tax write-off for it, and it's all being done by government employees and officials are doing this. I swear they are, and I will bring the witness, the actual on the scene witness that knows exactly where this data center is, and another person that has recovered disk and property from there that has been given back, that has already been copied or used, and they've given it back. And not, that's just a small drop in the hat from what all has been taken from me over the years. But just in the last couple of years here, I still have built back up enough evidence to really cook some asses down there. I mean, Kevin Parker and Doug Eichholz, you might as well, go back up to the nap center and get your knapsacks out and take a little snooze, because seriously, you're gonna, pack a lunch too, because it's gonna be all day. You're like leaving me sitting in the room while everybody else goes to court, and then you don't even give me a hearing, and then you run me back and forth to jail about 4 or 5 times before I even get heard, and I don't even get heard when I do have a hearing. It's you always force some stupid bogus attorney on me that since we gave you an attorney, you can't even talk now. This guy won't even say anything. His jaw locked. He's like, he's just afraid to say anything at all. And that was shit. What was his name? That perverted frickin' lawyer from Des Moines. Oh man, that could be several of them, but this guy, seriously, he just literally stood there and did not even say anything in my defense. And Kevin Parker wouldn't even allow me to talk. Literally wouldn't allow me to talk. And I've asked him, on the it should be on the record, but they try to do everything they can without any sort of record of it. I asked him, where's my frickin' prenuptial agreement at? You frickin' wrote up for me. Where's it at? Mine's been pulled off the recorder's books by somebody. I wonder who that was. And, my copy got stolen along with all my other documents, boxes of documents showing all of the illegal arrests and shit they have done to me over the years, just so they can rake in that money, that International Monetary Fund, which I never knew existed, but this money I could have drawn from and used for school, used to pay down debt, anything like that. And that's their law enforcement initiative. And not only do I have to pay court costs after they drop the charges, because they have nothing to go off of on any of these. Dozens and dozens of charges. You can see them online. And they drop the charges, but still I have to pay court costs. I have to pay law enforcement initiative, and they still already got paid from the International Monetary Fund for a full prosecution, regardless if they drop it or not. They don't give that back. And my account, my $1 million International Monetary Fund, has been completely robbed and swindled by the Warren County government, by Warren County courts, and there needs to be some justice. And you see these 4 boys back here, and this guy right here, and there's a 5th little boy down somewhere, they say down in Warren County somewhere, but he could just be being used as some sort of a little, who knows, man. It breaks my heart to think of it, but Kevin Parker placing Hank with, there's a little Hankster right there, placing, now he's Hudson Herbert or something like that. It's like, are you trying to insult me? That's Hank Magnus Augustine, okay? And he was kidnapped from my family, from me and my family, his 3 brothers there. He was kidnapped from us and placed with Casey McCaslin and his wife, who, if you're aware of Casey McCassin, I mean, he told me at Pete's when I saw him, I grabbed the guy and gave him a hug and said, I really appreciate you taking care of my son. It really means an awful lot to me, bud. I mean, I know me and you've had a bad past or whatever, but, you know, that's just based off of what your brother told me. But, I mean, what the hell, you know, people hearing stuff like that, who wouldn't say something to you, man? I mean, come on, knock that shit off, dude. Corey's a good guy. And you're gonna tell me, I have nothing to do with your son. That's all my wife. I have no relationship with him at all. I mean, thanks a lot, dickhead. I mean, honestly, that really makes me feel good. But here in a couple of years, like, I've been warned, well, he'll probably have something to do with him here in a few years. Once he matures up a little bit, he'll probably be showing him some of them Camp Wesleywood maneuvers, you know, some of those old maneuvers. It's like, oh God, don't say that. That's disgusting, man. But Hank, keep your eyes peeled, man. I mean, grow eyes back of your head, bud. I hope you got the bag of gifts I sent you. And I even put a bottle of Fireball in there for Casey and his wife. And, you know, I get sent to prison for giving him a Christmas gift. You know, Hank some little toys. And I gave Casey a membership card to the Harbor Freight and a bottle of Fireball, a pack of smokes. It's like, what else nicer can a fucking guy do for you guys? I didn't even knock on the fucking door. I just left it there for you. You know, it said Wyatt on the fucking front of the bag, but that's all I had to put it in. And yeah, it could have thrown you, and Wyatt could have been like, yeah, I put that there and saved his dad's ass. But you know, Wyatt's just thinking like a Woodruff now, which is like thinking on about a half a cylinder. And, you know, and thinking, you know, probably just thinking about himself. So he didn't think about saving dad's ass there. So, but anyway, Cash already had me hemmed up for just calling him to say, hey, are you the one driving by messing with me, honking the horn and carrying on? I don't know what Cash drives. I just got into town. They told me to come back. It was Josh's funeral. And me and Wyatt were going ice fishing. Me and Cash were going to hang out. And here I come back and they don't want to talk to me at all and can't even get a hold of them. And I'm getting harassed and arrested immediately, you know. And then the truth of the matter is, I mean, what's really going on in Warren County and around Iowa and other places, I mean, some of these United States Marines, I mean, I'll give you, there's a lot of United States Marines that have true heart and show true valor, and they live up to their motto and their creed. But some of these guys, literally, they get out of the service and they take their knowledge and their skills and they apply them to bad, dark things that are social ills and sick to society. And I know several former Marines that are involved in this sex trafficking bullshit, and you know, I'd ask you guys to please stop. As a former service member, you guys, please stop. I mean, come on, you guys got honorable discharges, most of you. It's like, you know, honor yourselves. You know, don't sell yourself short like that. And anybody that can expose anybody that's behind a lot of this stuff, Kevin Parker, exposed. Doug Eichholz, I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything about your kids. I mean, all I'm saying is I want Hank back. This is like 5 years ago. I just want Hank back, okay? That'll at least keep me on a level and keep me being a dad and you know, give me something responsible to do, some responsibility. And he couldn't even a father to a father, he couldn't even do that. I mean, Doug Eichholz is a bad individual. I don't think you can understand. He has no good bone in his body, and I'm trying to run to get him out of that office and get somebody integral in there, somebody that will actually administer justice and for the people. You know, like if there's a child welfare case or something comes across, I'm not just going to send out some social worker and tell her, hey, be as sneaky and ruthless as you can, and, you know, try to hem them up any way you can. See if you can spot anything in their house. You come back and we'll get a warrant, go kick their doors in, you know, and that comes back and, oh, meth lab, saw a bunch of buckets of fish tadpoles and fish tanks, you know, and then she goes back and says, got a meth lab going. They come and bust my doors up. I mean, literally destroy everything over some tadpoles and a few little minnow bait buckets and shit. I mean, literally, that was, so boys, it was your fault. We had that happen to us, okay? So quit blaming me. I mean, seriously, I'm just joking, but, I mean, at the end of the day, whose fault was it? It was our public officials. It was our paid employees and our system that we have set up that needs reform now. And I will run on the reform ticket. And you know, do I even need to go to law school? Do I even need to pass the bar exam? I mean, I'll go to the sports page and, and over to Pete's and over to Mojo's and Zoo or whatever, but I can get my bar credentials if I need to that way. But I mean, seriously, if I actually have to take a test, yeah, I'd ace it. I bet. I guarantee by now I'd ace a law test like that. I mean, especially the Iowa bar. It's got to be like just how to hamstring people and I mean, really nickel and dime them and shit like that. So you'd have to, it's probably more that type of knowledge than it is actually legal knowledge and stuff like that. But, I'll go take it just to have it. But, like I said, if there's any sort of a family issue, a crisis, or anything like that, I ain't going to send the Sick'em crew out to get you. The county attorney will show up firsthand, and I will be there. And, you try to pass me the pipe, I'll probably look at him and be like, is this what you're smoking? Oh, shit, man. Somebody said you guys were all fucked up. I mean, come on. The shit that's out on the streets nowadays can hardly fuck up a one-car fucking pony here. It's like, you guys are such a bunch of crooks. I mean, they put the shit out in the streets themselves. Warren County sheriffs. I mean, literally, they used to make it. I mean, that's the bad stuff. The anhydrous, they would make it. I mean, I was told that they have a celebration a couple times a year, a chili cook-off. Half of it's chili, half of it's freaking meth they're cooking. And then they put it out in the streets, and they follow it around and let them get in as much trouble as they can with it, bust them, make sure they have enough to bust them with, and then they take it from them and put it right back out in the streets. That's how Warren County, that was the product of the Warren County Drug Task Force back in the day. That's what comes out of that. And from the sources I get, people that have been involved with these task force, that's their actual initiative is to, on a task force when they set them up, they're not really trying to, curb the crime so much. They're going to bust them and take the goods from them, but they're actually trying to find a way to profit themselves from what's going on, instead of the illegal, drug guys getting the money and stuff like that. They try to figure out a way to profit from it. So as far as that, this weirdo drug, this whackball drug they lace I guess the meth or heroin with, it gets these girls to make them do anything. I can't remember what it's called. Brett Lucas told me what it was called. I'll ask him someday again when I talk to him, but he told me, yeah, that's what they do with that now, they use it in jails against people like me, that's in there for a simple misdemeanor, illegally at that. I didn't even violate a no contact order. I mean, there was justification 100%. Any reasonable judge would have seen that all day. I'm married to the woman, and she needed help, and she was begging for help, and I wasn't about to leave her stranded just as a human to a human. I'm going to help her out, and here I get what I got, and almost dead, a shot in the arm of that stuff. I mean, you can't control yourself. It's absolutely uncontrollable. And then with the extra microwave equipment that they administer on you, I mean, literally, it is a sick, morbid thing, and it gets even sicker, people. I mean, I'm not going to say I'd like kids to be able to see this. I mean, even if you can't vote, you need to tell your parents, vote for this guy. At least I know how to barbecue, and I'll see you at the grocery stores and shit, and out at the public places where, you can trust that you've got somebody on your side there in Warren County. But Doug Eichels, you ever run into that guy anywhere? No, I've seen him one time driving up 65, 69, doing like 10 over the speed limit, went flying right by me. I was like, yeah, Doug Eichels, I'd never seen that before. That's weird. I figured you had a chauffeur or something. But anyway, let's clean up the system there. I mean, vote reform this time around. Don't vote for Kevin Parker. Get him out of there. I've got a complaint in against him, a serious complaint, and it is a serious, heartfelt complaint that covers the lives and the sufferings of many Italian immigrants and their families that have been victimized and been taken advantage of over the years. And we're not going another round. I mean, my name is Nicholas Paul Augustine, NPA. It also means not paying again, and that means my family, anybody, my descendants are not paying again for anything or whatever you want to make up or put on us. This total bullshit. The Irish Navy, all they did was made movies and made a bunch of bullshit up, and that's all we kept saying. If you're from the Ottoman Empire days, you've got family descent, ancestors from there to tell you, they lie their asses off. what really happened to a lot of people's goods and whatnot. It's like they was double dinging everybody on that, and then plus making insurance money. It's kind of like boosting at Walmart. I mean, it really is the same formula. And seriously, it needs to be exposed once and for all. So as far as it goes, green lives matter. Okay, I mean, I know I'll probably get on your nerves, but that's a green life right there. I mean, if I ask too many questions, well, that's, maybe the ballad will say Nicodemus Augustine, but there needs to be a lot of questions asked right now and answered for. So vote Nicodemus Augustine. That's Nicholas Paul Augustine, Warren County resident, long time, since 1987, and it's the only way I can get my family back. These guys will not come off their high horse. They will not come off their bullshit positions, and their pride is way consuming their ability to administer proper justice and care for a family there in Warren County. That all they needed was just a little bit of help. If even that, didn't even really. All that was really needed was when I went into the probation office and Darren Hutchinson, probation officer, I said, "Is there any way you could arrest this drug dealer, whatever his name is? I can't remember. I call him McMumbles. Can you arrest this guy? He's selling my wife drugs. She's with him all the time, driving him around selling drugs. You see him on his bike when he's not with her, and he's just riding around town on his bike. He's got a warrant for a month. He's supposed to be a month in drug treatment. Can you arrest him and get him in there, please? Actually, honestly make an effort to bring him in, because seriously, my kids are getting exposed to some shit, and I'm sick of putting up with it, and I'm not letting my wife be this guy's friend much longer if all he is nothing but a drug dealing piece of shit, and he already had a China case and had lost his kids, but the Indianola cops, I went to them next because Darren Hutchinson's kind of, excuse me, the okie doke, whatever, yeah, we'll do what we can, see you later, it's really up to the police. It's like, so I went to the police. I said, dude, I see him all the time in town riding his bike. Seriously, if I see him, can I call you and let you know where he's at? You go pick him up, because I don't want him selling no more drugs to my wife and shit, I don't want her running around burning up a bunch of gas, running him all around Des Moines back and forth and selling this shit. So please, can you help me out here? I know we've got a bad past, but shit, that's been years in the past, And even then, I wasn't that disrespectful. I really wasn't, I might have headed a freaking paper that said local law enforcement in this area is a joke. But honestly, was it at the time? You damn right it was. With the law enforcement initiative and busting people, kids right out of high school, or even not even out of high school, as many times as they can, and don't even try to prosecute them on it. Sometimes just get a phone call. You don't have to show up for this. It's been dismissed. But they still got that International Monetary Fund money in their pocket, and it's robbed straight from that person, from that kid that could use it for schooling, could use it for, various things throughout his life. And here, a lot of people don't know that exists. I never did, but that was their initiative. And what did they turn around and do with it? Buy a bunch of shit to torture people, get them in the precinct down there, or get them in the county jail and do sexual shit to them, do morbid shit to them, stuff like that, and grease their own, line their own pockets with the money, hire more cops or make more, get AR-15s. And I'm living over here in Keokuk County now, where that whole incident happened. The courts then decided the sheriffs have the right to carry AR-15s. Next thing I know, I've got Deputy Fisher on a welfare check putting a fucking AR-15 to my forehead. Come on. That's the type of serious level of professionalism we have there in Warren County, out on a welfare check, on a mental health welfare check. And I was just sleeping on my couch, and all of a sudden, boom, door kicks open, and I'm like, stand up. I'm like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden he runs in with an AR-15 right to my head, yelling. And fuck, thank God Voss comes flying in. He's like, hey, grabs it and pulls his gun down. I was like, jeez, this fucking crazy little fucking idiot gonna shoot me or what? Seriously, these guys have no right even touching a freaking firearm, let alone, having several of them, and then letting them have a jail up there on the square that's literally, I went through it and walked through it at 3 a.m. one morning on a Sunday when nobody was working on it, and just checked it out when nearing completion. And I mean, they got like in the basement, it's like a Venetian or like a Roman bathhouse of sorts. I mean, it's sick looking. It's like, what are they really going to be doing in here to these guys and girls they arrest? I mean, get out of jail. All you got to do to get out of jail. I mean, it's like, I can imagine Warren County, and that's their, yeah, that's them. And they've already, I mean, I've worked on that Wilder Elementary, and I was told when I'm putting them lights in, yeah, they set the lights up in there, the normal electricians, but they got to hire guys like me, just anybody they can find to come in and wire them, because nobody will wire them, because that's actually a no-no in their books. Anybody that actually hooks these up and so they can be functional and what they can do and what they're really doing here, nobody will do it. And the guy, he actually set me aside once the foreman walked away and he said, here's what these are really about. I mean, I was like, yeah, they're seem awfully powerful. He's like, yeah, they're supposed to heat the certain area of the 4 square of desk that the kids are sitting at, but also they're able to fluctuate the hertz, and this all ran through a room. It's in the PTA or the parent room, or the teacher room, and I'll show you when that's where the foreman's at all day. And wonder why you never see him. And sure enough, that guy foreman left for lunch, and we went in there, and yeah, there's a room, and it's just a little, break room. But then there's another door in the back, and you open it, and it's like a freaking casino, freaking security room with, I mean, banks of cameras and knobs under each TV, and literally that's at Wilder Elementary in Indianola, Iowa, and those lights can emit certain frequencies and levels of heat and flickers of light. I mean, I remember back in high school when a lot of the guys were wearing shades, and they had a big to do about the not allowing these guys to wear shades in class, and their bitch was they don't like the hue of the light, and it doesn't jive with their their ability to learn and shit like that. They need shades. And I mean, they had a viable argument, because even in high school, I mean, I'm sure they had similar shit already going there, but even down to little kids at Wilder Elementary, and they said Hank was acting up this way or that way or the next. They had to put him on Ritalin. If he's still taking Ritalin, I would love to know. I want to put a stop to that, and I want justice for what's gone on to the families that are in Warren County. And that's why I'm asking you, seriously, if you got to write me in, Nick Augustine, Warren County Attorney, 2022, November 8th, get out and vote. It's the only way I'm going to get my family back. It's the only way a lot of people are going to get justice. I've talked to several people that, they don't have even nearly close to a case that I got, but I'm telling you what, their MO is, Doug Eichholz and Kev Parker prodding me and pushing me to, they want me to act out, or they want me to do something violent, or they want me to try to bring the party back and try to turn everybody into a bunch of dissidents and government haters and shit. No, not at all. The government framework is there. Yeah, there needs to be a constitutional convention, a true constitutional convention with actual delegates that are hand-selected, just average Joes, man. Some guy from Ironworkers 67 and get a couple of electricians and shit like that, just average Joes. Get somebody, John Krause, old cook up there at Krause's, man. You go do the Constitutional Convention for us, man. I mean, that's the type of people we need there, not these politicians, not these hand-me-down politicians and their kids just keeping the funding going for them. And that's where a lot of the money goes for in America right now. It's just hand-me-down, and I mean, these families never have to work. You see all these people trying to guard the White House or the Capitol building out there when they say Trump tried to propagate some sort of big whatever they called it, a big riot. And it's like, you see these kids, they're trying to keep people from getting in the Capitol. Those were all just a bunch of old politicians' kids or nephews, nieces, and hand-me-downs. They still get money under the table. They got some sort of credit card that the people are still paying for them, and their great-grandpa was a freaking congressman or a representative like 100 years ago, literally. That's about how it works. But they got to at least protect the Capitol, do something, so that when times of shit like that happen, that was them out there. And I hate to laugh because these fake ass lawyers and Democrats get up there trying to prosecute Trump and impeach him, and he's sitting there about crying, and I caught a little bit of that because it was the only thing that was on TV, and I was like, this is such garbage. It's just like this document scandal. I mean, those documents, what did they really contain? Why don't you find that out, media, and let us know what there was in there, because maybe Trump was trying to do a lot of people a solid and get justice for a lot of people. It could have been people like me that have been experimented with and been used for dark capital gains and shit like that. And it could very well be that's what it was, because I doubt it had to do with anything nuclear, missile, anything, or military. I highly doubt that. I mean, Trump really, he leaves that to the military. I mean, he's smart enough to do that. He ain't one of these, Joe Biden's that's going to be like, well, here's the deal we'll cut with the Syrians, drop the medical industry, terror industry, and you could keep your mineral wealth. Oh shit, they ain't going to give up the mineral wealth anyway, and they're going to keep doing the medical terror. They're just going to do it over here in America. They're just waiting for, they're just here already waiting. I mean, look, you want to see the medal I got from a Dr. Abraham Assad, nephew of the president over there in Syria? I mean, president, I should say president, leader, the dictator, or whatever you want to call him, but seriously, that's his nephew. Medical terrorist, and his diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia, and is what has kept me, the DHS and the Judge Schlenker, or whatever you want to call him, who's an actual consul to Germany. He's a German consul over there, or whatever, German ambassador. And it says right in the Constitution, you cannot hold a federal office or a federal seat or whatever, a federal job, and also a state job at the same time. Cannot do it. That is against the rules, okay? So, I mean, enough's enough. Kim Parker's not even a proper judge that's supposed to be in there. I mean, it really isn't. Plus, he's longtime county attorney, Knight of Columbus. I mean, he's ruling on that bench using the power of the state sword and the jails and prisons and everything else on me as a Knight of Columbus, not as a judge that's doing what the public wants, or doing as is scripted by law, or what's par for the course for everybody. I mean, he's ruling as a Knight of freaking Columbus, an organization that all they're meant for is to keep the secrets of the Catholic Church and cause havoc for incoming immigrants, mostly Italian Catholics, after roughly 1912, after the whole Christopher Columbus card. My family came in before that, so I mean, they were way before. They're not even supposed to. You're not even supposed to even be fucking with me, Kim Parker. You just don't like me because I don't know, because you're cuckoo, man. You're nuts. Okay, you're absolutely freaking nuts, and you need off that bench, and it needs to be this November. I mean, it's time for you to retire anyway. You go out there to your church and try to cover up your crimes out there, okay, and try to cover up your sex crimes and shit that everybody hears about. And I've had several girls come to me and say, I can't believe what Kevin Parker asked me to do or made me do and shit like that. And it's about high time that shit stops, okay? I mean, some of these girls have ended up dead and no investigation into why. There's a girl named Leah that needs to be investigated. I mean, literally, her death needs to be investigated, but they sit and red tape it, and a bunch of, well, on the Osceola-Warren County line, so, big who's going to investigate what? Well, fuck. One of the person that knew her investigated it herself and seen exactly what happened, and that's fucking morbid, sick shit. And these people need to be brought to justice. I don't care how much money they got, how much farmland they own, or whatever. They need to be brought to fucking justice. I'm not afraid of these people. If the sheriff's too fucking chicken shit and coward to go out there and bust them, I'll go out there myself. But if there's a China case or something like that, a call on a domestic or whatever, just a husband, wife, domestic, not even kids involved, county attorney, me, Nicholas Augustine, will show up at your house and we will have it out. We will discuss what is going to be done to solve the situation, see what kind of help we can get. But for the most part, ain't nobody going to go to jail, unless there's blood all over the fucking place. Then somebody probably is going to go to jail. But for the most part, no, we're not going to have any more of these, racketeering off people's. They're already in a bad position, okay? They're already hurting and needing help, and here you're going to put them in jail and double ding them. I mean, that's the Doug Eichel's philosophy. It just makes a sick society even sicker, okay? And, you can get on his website, victim services, going to have the best victim services. Bullshit, man. There's nothing but try to racketeer money there, too. That's all it's going to be. I know this gal, Sunday Smith, and what she did to me, going to parole her after putting me in prison illegally, telling lies, absolutely telling lies. I mean, if anybody wants to really it, look at the evidence of that whole case. I mean, it's in black and white. She's a bold-faced liar. I mean, so is Bob Lord, and they all need to be held responsible. And seriously, Doug Eichholz will not do it. He wouldn't prosecute on a extortion charge. I mean, it was straight up extortion, trying to extort money out of my mother and threatening to put me illegally back in jail, which they had already done, and Polk County had let me out, had ruled that you've been held illegally, we're letting you out. They don't even show up for court because they make the accusations and all this shit, and then they don't even show up. They hold you for the no contact order. You go to court 2 weeks later, you've already served the time, and then they don't even show up for the hearing because they have nothing to even fucking go off of, so they drop the charges, but I've already done the 2 weeks in jail. It's already set me back that far, and that's what the current system is doing. There needs to be reform and some change, and we need a leader in there. I might not be a leader. I'm not a great speaker, and I'm not a flashy guy that can wheel and deal, but I do understand the Constitution, contract law, and constitutional law. And as you can see here, it's time to rotate the crops. I mean, you might think it's LA, but it's IA, okay? And you go out to California, and you can uncover a lot of truths about the Midwest and what Iowa was set up for, and the connection it has with California and stuff. That's nuts and bolts of it. There needs to be some crop rotation. We need proper medicines. This is good blood pressure medicine for me. It helps me go to sleep at night. The PTSD from everything really settles down. My anxiety goes down quite a bit. My heart rate goes up a lot more. But, if I was just had a little more cardiovascular exercise and stuff in my diet, then I would probably not have that problem. But, I got a meter first. So everybody, vote Augustine, 2022 Warren County Attorney, November 8th. We'll see you in court.